Aemond Targaryen, who would henceforth be known as Aemond the Kinslayer to his foes, returned to King's Landing, having won the support of Storm's End for his brother Aegon, and the undying enmity of Queen Rhaenyra and the Blacks. If he thought to receive a hero's welcome on his return home, he was sorely disappointed. Queen Alicent went pale when she heard what he had done, crying, "Mother, have mercy on us all." Nor was Ser Otto pleased. "You only lost one eye," he is reported to have said. "How could you be so blind?" The king himself did not share their concerns, however. Aegon II welcomed Prince Aemond home with a great feast, hailed him as the true blood of the dragon, and announced that he had made a good beginning, much to the discomfort of his mother and the rest of the Green Council. Meanwhile, over on Dragonstone, Queen Rhaenyra collapsed when told of Luke's death. No one was able to console her. Jace was still away on his mission north, while Luke's young brother Joffrey swore a terrible oath of vengeance against Prince Aemond and Lord Boros Baratheon for his role in his brother's death. Only the intervention of the ever-calm and resilient sea snake Corlys Valerian and Princess Rhaenys, who kept the young boy from mounting his own dragon at once and flying to the capital to his own certain death. As the Black Council sat to consider how to strike back and seek vengeance, a raven arrived from Harrenhal. A message had arrived from Prince Daemon. "An eye for an eye, a son for a son," Prince Daemon wrote. "Lucerys shall be avenged." Let it not be forgotten, in his youth, Daemon Targaryen had been the prince of the city, his face and laugh familiar to every cutpurse, whore, and gambler in Flea Bottom. Every gang leader, every thief, every innkeep still had a soft spot for their prince. Daemon had friends in the low places of King's Landing, and yet still countless followers planted amongst the gold cloaks from his short time as Lord Commander. Most importantly, and unbeknownst to King Aegon, the Hand Otto Hightower, or the Queen Dowager Alicent, he had allies at court as well, even on the Green Council itself, something that could not be said for the Black Council, who all were loyal to their queen. There was one other go-between, a special friend he trusted utterly, who knew the wine sinks and rat pits that festered in the shadow of the Red Keep, as well as Daemon himself once had, and moved easily through the shadows of the city. To this pale stranger, he reached out now, knowing his services would be needed by secret ways to set a terrible vengeance into motion. Amidst the stews of Flea Bottom, Prince Daemon's go-between found suitable instruments for vengeance. One had been a sergeant in the city watch, big and brutal. He had lost his gold cloak for beating a whore to death whilst in a drunken rage. Since then he had gained a somewhat brutal reputation around the city. The other was a rat-catcher in the Red Keep and had easy access around the castle, even knowing of some secret passageways forgotten to time. Their true names are lost to history. They are remembered in the history as Blood and Cheese, names that would go down in infamy. The hidden doors and secret tunnels that Maegor the Cruel had built were as familiar to the rat-catcher as to the rats he hunted, and it is still not clear today exactly where the two villains went. Using a forgotten passageway, Cheese led Blood into the heart of the castle, unseen by any guard. Some say their quarry was King Aegon himself, but Aegon was accompanied by the King's Guard wherever he went day and night, a task a man of Blood's skill set was not suited for. Even Cheese knew of no way in and out of Maegor's holdfast, save over the drawbridge that spanned the dry moat and its formidable iron spikes. The Tower of the Hand was less secure, however. The two men crept up through the walls, bypassing the spearmen posted at the lone tower doors. Ser Otto's rooms were of no interest to them. This was to be a personal attack, not a political one. Instead, they slipped into his daughter's chambers, one floor below. Queen Alicent had taken up residence there after the death of King Viserys, when her son Aegon moved into Maegor's holdfast with his own queen. Once inside, Cheese bound and gagged the Dowager Queen whilst Blood strangled her bedmaid to death. Then they settled down to wait, for they knew it was the custom of Queen Helaena to bring her children, Aegon's children, to see their grandmother every evening before they were put to bed. Every day, without fail. Blind to her danger, the Queen appeared as dusk was settling over the castle, while the guards were switching shifts, accompanied by her 3 children. The twins, Jaehaerys and Jaehaera, were 6, Maela only 2. As they entered the apartments, Helaena was holding Maela's little hand and calling out her mother's name. Blood barred the door and slew the Queen's guardsman, whilst Cheese appeared to snatch up Maela. "Scream and you all die," Blood told her Grace. Queen Helaena kept her calm, it is said. "Who are you?" she demanded of the 2. "Debt collectors," said Cheese. "An eye for an eye, a son for a son. We only want the one, to square things off, though. We are fair men. We won't hurt the rest of you fine folks, not one lil hair. Which one you want to lose, your Grace?" Once she realized what he meant, Queen Helaena pleaded with the men to kill her instead. "A wife's not a son," said Blood. "It has to be a boy." Cheese warned the Queen to make a choice soon, before Blood grew bored. "Pick," he said, "or we kill them all." On her knees, weeping, Helaena named her youngest Maela. Perhaps she thought the boy was too young to understand, or perhaps it was because the older boy, Jaehaerys, was King Aegon's firstborn son and heir, next in line to the Iron Throne. "You hear that, little boy?" Cheese whispered to Maela. "Your mama wants you dead." Then he gave Blood a grin, and the hulking swordsman slew Prince Jaehaerys, striking off the boy's head with a single blow. The Queen began to scream. Strange to say, the rat-catcher and the butcher were true to their word. They did no further harm to Queen Helaena or her surviving children, but rather fled with the prince's head in hand. A hue and cry went up, but Cheese knew the secret passageways as the guards did not, and the killers made their escape. 2 days later, Blood was seized at the Gate of the Gods, trying to leave King's Landing with the head of Prince Jaehaerys hidden in one of his saddle sacks. Under torture, he confessed that he had been taking it to Harrenhal to collect his reward from Prince Daemon. He also gave up a description of the whore he claimed had hired them. An older woman, foreign by her talk, cloaked and hooded, very pale. The other harlots called her Misery. After 13 days of torment, Blood was at last allowed to die. Queen Alicent had commanded Larys Clubfoot to learn his true name, so that she might bathe in the blood of his wife and children, but our sources do not say if this occurred. Sir Luther Largent and his gold cloaks searched the Street of Silk from top to bottom, and turned out and stripped every harlot in King's Landing, but no trace of Cheese or the White Worm was ever found. In his grief and fury, King Aegon commanded that all the city's rat-catchers be taken out and hanged, and this was done. Sir Otto Hightower brought 100 cats into the Red Keep to take their place. Though Blood and Cheese had spared her life, Queen Helaena cannot be said to have survived that fateful dusk. Afterward, she would not eat, nor bathe, nor leave her chambers, and she could no longer stand to look upon her son Maela, knowing that she had named him to die. The king had no recourse but to take the boy from her and give him over to their mother, the Dowager Queen Alicent, to raise as if he were her own. Aegon and his wife slept separately thereafter, and Queen Helaena sank deeper and deeper into madness, whilst the king raged and drank and raged, cruising his sister's name. But in truth, we do not know how much of a role Queen Rhaenyra played in the attack. This was brutal. Even despite all her threats, this very much had the fingerprints of the Rouge Prince.